tap and go. That's how easy it's become to pay for your purchases with contactless payment technology. And newer options, such as mobile wallets and wearables payment technology, make it even more convenient. And the innovation continues.
So we've seen a steady evolution from plastic. So 5 years ago, we saw the first launch of Apple Pay, which was clearly the next evolution as we started to look at digital payments. And now we're seeing this era of wearables. Most recently, we've done this work with Tappy to enable contactless payments to be made from analog watches, from jewelry, from sunglasses, and a whole plethora of other items that we would use every day.
Tappy Technologies is potentially revolutionizing the payment industry. Its technology introduces the possibility that any wearable or item that you own can become a payment device, and they don't even have to be smart.
Our parent company has been involved in OEM manufacturing for multiple watch brands. And working with these brands, what we realized, they want a product which looks exactly as how it would look without the payment chip being inside it. So that's the whole criteria, without compromising the aesthetics of the product.
Tappy's secret lies in its payment chip. The chip is so thin and flexible that it can be embedded in any product. Together with a UPPU clip, it allows you to store your payment card's information into your non-smart wearables.
So Sabur, show me, how do I set up one of these wearables so that I can start making payments?
Absolutely. So here you see we have a Timex watch. Beautiful watch, very classic,
Very nice.
very elegant. What you see here is a MasterCard logo in there.
Yeah.
So this indicates that this is where the payment chip has been embedded inside. This is the slim, ultra slim chip, which goes in there.
Very flexible.
Now, how do we send our card information into this strap? For that, we have developed this very interesting technology, what we call the UPPU. Now, this UPPU clip with the NFC driver in it, what it would do is it would provision the token which it has just received into the payment chip embedded inside. The whole process takes about a minute.
While the technology for wearables payment is advancing, adoption is still lagging behind. According to a Visa Consumer Payment Attitude Survey, interest in using wearables payment technology was the highest in Vietnam, while Singapore ranked the lowest.
In developing markets, startups that are over-investing to offer consumers different choices to ensure payment experiences are frictionless and easy to use. To a market like Singapore, which is highly developed, about 60% of Singaporeans are aware of wearables, for example, but only 40% wish to try. Now, if you look a little deeper into that, why is that so? Singaporeans are very used to the current payment infrastructure.
Beyond wearables, the rise of smart homes and the Internet of Things may also introduce more payment devices.
With 5G, we're going to see an explosion of connected cars, of connected home devices like Alexa or Google Home, even things like washing machines, refrigerators, that your fridge, for example, could pay for your milk and order that for you automatically, that your car could automatically pay your ERP or your road tolls without you having to be involved in the process. So there's going to be this explosion of Internet of Things, and many of these things will want to talk to each other and ultimately pay each other.
However, as payment devices proliferate, cybersecurity becomes a key concern.
Something that might happen in the future for convenience sake, but it's really not secure, because that is just recognizing the token. Insecurity comes not so much from the technology itself, it's from the way that you actually utilize it. Your smart fridge, for example, the authentication happens between the fridge as well as the bank. Now, in those type of systems, then it really depends on what is the setup you have within your home environment.
Anticipating the growth of payment devices, efforts are being made to improve the security of contactless payment.
With Grab here in Southeast Asia, we launched a numberless credit card. It was the first of its type for Asia Pacific. With Tappy, we're removing 16-digit card numbers from the ecosystem, and we're replacing them with what we call tokens.
Most of the transactions that will take place will be tokenized. What does tokenized mean? That when the transaction flows over the air, the actual credit card number or debit card number or any account related numbers do not travel over the air, and it gets tokenized into a random generated number. So that 16-digit number essentially goes away and is not relevant.
Ultimately, it will be the consumer who has to ensure that payment is made securely.
The onus is actually on the consumer to ensure that every time they make use of such a payment, somehow or another they must be able to keep track of how many of such devices do I have. Also, what is the limit, what is the floor limit for each one of this before authentication is required? Is this something that I can afford? Not just by one item, but as a summation of all items. So from there, I think it's a mindset shift, because traditionally you have always put that responsibility to the bank, to the payment systems, to the manufacturers of the devices.